think beyond insurance. Be the go-to person for your clients. Have something to say and just be passionate what you do. And I think finally, be a good person. Good things will happen to good people. And if you do that, you're gonna have a great, rewarding career.
Welcome to the Leader's Edge podcast. I'm Zach Ewell, market analyst and podcast producer. Last spring, I had the pleasure to host several conversations at this year's Employee Benefits Leadership Forum in Colorado Springs. In fact, several conversations were so intriguing that we at Leader's Edge decided to turn them into a podcast mini-series. In our second episode featuring conversations we had at EBLF, I talk with Jochen Körner, CEO of Ecclesia Group, a German-based insurance brokerage. Körner discusses how he fell into the insurance business from an international perspective, explains the intricacies of Germany's latest healthcare system overhaul, and shares his advice for young people who want to break into the insurance industry. Give it a listen. Jochen, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me. It's my first podcast.
Oh, wow.
Ever.
Okay, we're honored. So I'm going to start off with a little bit of a personal question.
Yes.
Tell me about your journey breaking into the insurance industry. Did you always have an eye for risk?
Eye for risk, maybe. Insurance, certainly not. However, broking runs in my blood. My family had two companies.
Okay.
A potato wholesaling company.
Okay.
And a freight forwarding company.
All right.
Which essentially is broking. And my grandmother, God bless, always said, I rather trade with my little finger than I work with my whole arm.
Sounds like a smart woman.
She was definitely a force of nature.
Yeah.
Then really what got me into it, I asked a friend of my mother, where can I do an internship in the summer during college? And she said, well, I work for an insurance broker, which is now Marsh.
Okay.
Kratman und Toller. And it's great, you have office in New York and people wear cufflinks. So I was sold. And then I stepped foot into the office then, summer of 97. Okay. And never regretted it, never left the industry. I loved it ever since.
Oh, wow. Okay. So that's very fascinating. So, instead of, insurance, brokerage in a sense throughout all the different industries. So that's very fascinating. Yes. I don't think I've ever heard that kind of, brokerage is in your blood.
It was. Yes.
So my next question is a little bit more about employee benefits. Yeah. But with Ecclesia offices and clients in many countries, I assume that the geopolitics is a big concern for you lately. How has the geopolitical situation impacted your regions and clients?
Great question.
Yeah.
And let me answer in various dimensions.
Sure.
If I may.
Yeah.
Of course, it matters by client segment, client size, exposure. However, already also this has changed in these uncertain times we're living in. Sure. Whereas political risk was always out there, but it was something, let me say, for the big boys. Only the very global companies had to worry about it. Sure. But now, especially in the last 6 months or so, it really came down to even small companies because their supply chains are affected. Cost of replacement is affected. Talking tariffs here in the US specifically. And everything changed in the whirlwind. Everything changed overnight. So it's a huge thing, and I think political risk and geopolitical risk has become more to the forefront of all our clients. Okay. It takes a larger part in our advisory role. Sure. And I'm very glad, Ecclesia, we can talk about later if you want. We did this partnership with SRG in London, and they just invested heavily into political risk, focusing on that area because there's client demand. So it's big, and especially in the benefit side. I mean, you have to see when we talk global benefits, how you can take them back how you can move money from one country to the other, and so on and so forth.
Sure.
So it's becoming ever more complex, nerve-wracking at times, and also for our employees, for our clients.
Yeah.
But I say, you know what? That's when you need a broker. You don't need an advice, a good broker, when everything is easy, right?
Sure.
For when the weather gets rough, that's when you need a good captain.
Yeah, you're there for the hard stuff.
Exactly.
So my next question is more specific to Germany.
Yeah.
Recently, the German Health Ministry introduced the KHVVG. I started reading. It's a very long word. I know Krankenhaus. I took some German in high school. Is hospital. But could you pronounce it real quick?
In Deutsch, what it is, it's Krankenhausstrukturreform.
Okay.
And the KHVVG, it's the legal acronym for it. It's the Krankenhausstrukturreform, which basically is the reform of the healthcare landscape in Germany. It is the biggest, most far-reaching structural reform we ever had, and it's one of those things. Everybody, we have not just two aisles, we have multiple aisles.
Yes, you're not a two-party system like us in the US.
So everybody across the system, actually most people, would agree that something needs to be done, but how it's done, that's up for debate, especially, the NIMBY acronym, the not in my backyard. So it's a big debate.
Yeah.
What the reform aims to do is to restructure how hospitals provide service and are financed. Mm-hmm. So one is a reclassification by service groups.
Yes.
So hospitals are assigned into various groups.
Yes.
Depending on the levels and what they perform. And that should reduce duplication and ensure specialization, which is a big thing. Also translate into quality, translate into then risk mitigation. It's intended to do a huge shift from stationary care, do you call it inpatient?
Yes, inpatient, yes.
Inpatient care to
outpatient care, okay.
Big thing. And then on top of it, a more targeted investment in infrastructure.
Okay.
Including digitalization. Big thing, far-reaching, long. In the midst of it, we had a change of government.
Sure.
Let's see what they will do.
Yeah.
But I hope they will do the right thing. It needs to be done. As
Yeah.
I said before, our system is one of the most expensive globally. Not as expensive as the US,
Yeah.
but not far off it. And we have to become better and more efficient.
And I was doing some reading, and it was interesting. There's similarities in the U.S. where it seemed like in this plan, in this legislation, it targeted essentially the differences between urban versus rural areas and hospitals.
Yeah.
As you're aware, medical inflation is a big concern in the U.S. And is this also the case abroad? I'm assuming in Germany?
Oh, absolutely. It's a global phenomenon. It's driven, I think, by the aging populations, by chronic conditions, medical innovation, labor shortage, and so on and so forth. And Europe, and by no means Germany, isn't immune of that. It's a huge thing. Of course, in Germany, I like the US, with Medicare a bit, but I like the US. We have these statutory health insurance concepts in Germany, so and those are also under pressure. Another recent phenomenon is the weight control medicines.
Okay.
Like Ozempic without.
Sure, Ozempic. Yeah, everybody knows about Ozempic now.
So, what does it mean to our social security systems? If people live much longer, they will need much longer care. So how will this change? It's very fascinating.
Yeah.
And as long as I think there's a lot to be discussed along the way. Another very interesting phenomenon on the inflation is if you look at mankind as such, right, in the Western world, what has not changed is the time we spent working.
Sure.
That has not changed. Okay, the productive years, but the care years have been extended because we live much longer.
Sure. Yeah, we definitely do.
So it's a huge, a lot of factors getting into that discussion, and it's fascinating. Again, you need the good broker and you need good partners.
What it sounds like, it's very simple and it makes sense. Cause and effect. Changing the drugs we take, such as Ozempic, or our lifestyles, and living longer. That puts a lot of stress on the healthcare infrastructure, whether it be the U.S. or abroad, such as in Germany.
Correct.
So my last question, this one's more personal. We're bringing it all the way back. But what advice would you give to a young insurance professional who has recently entered our industry?
A few things. Be curious and just ask questions and look for a mentor. Go on client events.
Yep.
Ask for a ride along, right? You just learn and absorb, and of course do stuff nobody else wants to do, and then you learn.
Yeah.
And of course, master the fundamentals. So you have to be technically good on something, not on everything, on something. Being relentless, being smart. Our careers are marathons. They really are.
Oh, sure.
They really are. And that's how it should be.
That's
how it should be. And I know it takes time, but it's such a great industry. It touches so many industries, lives, people. Excellent. And I think I would conclude with think beyond insurance. Try to solve problems. Be the go-to person for your clients. Have something to say.
Sure.
And just be passionate what you do, and I think finally, be a good person. Good things will happen to good people, and if you do that, you're gonna have a great, rewarding career.
That was my conversation with Jochen Körner, CEO of the Ecclesia Group. I hope you enjoyed it. To listen and subscribe to Leaders Edge podcasts, go to leadersedge.com or wherever you get your podcasts.